Listen, did you know that there were 3 ways that you can get your credit back on track if you previously made mistakes? And I say this because a lot of times people feel as though if they made mistakes, then there's nothing they can do about it, or it has to stick and stay for a long time on their credit report before it actually can get to a more positive like status. This is a part 2 to a video that I did previously about 3 simple strategies that can help you take your credit to the next level. But let's dive straight in. So the first one, and you want to stick around to the end because I'm gonna show you something visually that I think you can benefit from, especially if you're on your credit restoration journey. But this area is specifically dealing with payment history. Payment history is basically your on-time payments over time. And hopefully you do that all the time. The better payment history you have, the more points you're able to accumulate. Payment history is responsible for 35% of your score, which equates to 192.5 points. That's a lot of points. So what that means is that you need to take this area serious. Now, if you have not taken it serious, or you made some errors and some mistakes, all hope is not lost. Because if you have some late payments, one of the first things that you can do is understand that going forward, you need to make on-time payments. You need to build up a track record of about 2 years of on-time payments. On-time payments for 2 years to get the maximum benefit that comes from having good payment history. So that's that. So if you made a mistake, this day forward, start correcting those errors. The second thing you can do is when it comes to disputing them, now you want to look for errors, inaccuracies. And this is what I like to tell people, and you might want to write this down and consider this. A lot of times people talk about getting their personal information updated and changing it. It has its benefits. It can work because if the personal information is updated, then they're less likely to be able to attach it to some other accounts that you may have. However, if the personal information is not matching across the board, then it's a good chance that there's some type of billing error that has taken place. Because if the name is misspelled on multiple places, you got multiple addresses, probably a billing error associated with some of those accounts that are late. So what you can do is send a letter, put down the fact that there's a billing error. You don't have to be any more detailed than that. Put down the fact that there's a billing error with the request for them to update that account to never late. Update the account to never late. And what happens is, instead of that account getting deleted, you can wind up getting that negative account updated to a positive status. I always tell people, listen, sometimes it's not about getting everything removed. Sometimes you want to get things updated to positive, and it still has a great benefit because you might have had some on-time payments associated with that account. What good would it do to have that account deleted altogether? Now, this is specifically for accounts that are not in collection or charge-off status, and many times these accounts are still open currently. So if they're still open currently, then you want to make sure that you don't get the whole account deleted anyway, number one. If it's not still open currently, I still have had clients to get those accounts updated to positive because it's a billing error, which is the responsibility for the Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax to have accurate reporting. So if they have an error, a billing error, then they're supposed to report things accurately. And if you discover a billing error, then you can oftentimes get that updated to a positive status. The third thing, and this is what you want to stick around for, because I'm finna switch and show you the screen and really break down some codes that you can use that have been highly effective for clients of mine when it comes to disputes. And that is disputing things based on code violations. See, billing errors is one thing, but code violations is based on things that have been written in the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which requires the consumer reporting agencies to have accurate reporting. There are code violations that exist there. The code violations could also be in conjunction with the FDCPA, which is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And that entails how the debt collectors are practicing their particular business, and are they doing it correctly? Are they doing it the right way? If they violated those codes, then there's grounds for getting things removed, getting your score back on track, getting things deleted, and possibly even some lawsuits. So let's dive in on some actual things that allow me to help this particular client get 10 deletions. And there were some other things, but their score went up over 100 points. So here's an update from a recent client, and their score went up 152 points total across the board when you do the math. And we're able to get 10 negatives removed. They had some other things that took place on their account, but I just want you to see the different things that took place in terms of getting their things deleted and how this can be of benefit to you as well. So let's scroll down. So some extra things that hit their account, but let's get down to the nitty gritty. So that being said, we got the Department of Education, which is student loans, got deleted. Now I want you to look right here in this area here. This is the dispute reason. This is what we use to dispute. And then you can see the results of this situation is that particular item got deleted. Now, in this case, we use 15 U.S. Code 1681EB. I need you to look that up and get familiar with that, because this code can be something that can benefit you, and it's dealing with compliance procedures. How did they go about the certain procedures of reporting this particular account? Look into the details of it so you can get an understanding of what compliance procedures are. The purpose of this basically requires credit bureaus to ensure maximum possible accuracy of reported information. Not minimal possible accuracy, maximum possible accuracy. So that means that if it's not 100% correct, then you can dispute it based on those things and have those items deleted. So compliance procedures is a big one because it's determined by maximum possible accuracy, and it's a great chance that 99.9% of the items on your report doesn't have maximum possible accuracy. Now, you might benefit from some of those things having some errors, because it might cause you to have some things reflecting in a positive status, but in many cases it does not. So that's what that one is. So 1681EB U.S. Code. But there's more. In this one, we got deleted for the same reason. 15 U.S. Code 1681B, and as you can see, deleted, got re-imported on the account as, a deleted item. Same thing here. Student loans deleted, just a different bureau using the same code. But in this round, I use multiple codes in order to get certain things deleted. So this one right here was centered around a child support. And as you can see, we used a different code for the child support, and this is 15 U.S. Code 1601A, which is known as informed use of credit. Informed use of credit is centered around basically how did they go about accessing your information, accessing your data, and using your report. Did you inform them of them being that invasive to get access to certain information? If not, then they violated the informed use of credit code. So you can use this to your advantage depending on the situation. This is oftentimes beneficial for things like the child support, beneficial for things like collections, charge-offs as well, depending on how it's placed. And now you can position yourself to increase the chances of getting it deleted as well by using the informed use of credit code, which is 15 USC 1601A. I need you to write these down. If you're doing disputes, you need to have these codes in your toolbox so you can, apply them in further use. This one right here was a Capital One. As you can see, it was a charge-off account. Charge-off collection, pretty much operate the same. They're different because a charge-off, they took it as a tax deduction. A collection, they sold it off, simply put. But on this one, we use permissible purpose. Permissible purpose. Did they have permissible purpose as it relates to them reporting this information? And if they did not have permissible purpose, then they need to get it deleted because they violated your rights in that area. So definitely get familiar with this one. This is a big one. That's 1681B, permissible purpose. Because a lot of times they don't have permissible purposes. There's a reason why they should be going into the account in the first place. And a lot of times they don't do it in the right manner. So they violate the permissible purpose. But us using this increase the chances of getting certain things deleted, as this one got deleted as well. Let's keep going. On this one, this is another child support. We used a different code, but it got the same results. Deleted. We use that informed use. Remember, the informed use is did they go about accessing your data in the correct manner? Probably not. That was uninformed use, but it needs to be an informed use clause. And that allowed us to get some child support deleted in that process. So I want you to get familiar with those codes. U.S. codes have the ability to position you to leverage the law to your advantage, and is building up the potential of you having to file some type of lawsuit, because you're showing that they violated certain codes, and those codes are the statutes that they have to abide by, and if they don't, then they're operating unlawfully. So really take advantage of this information and the 3 ways that I told you that you can go about strengthening your payment history by making on-time payments, get to a point to where it's 2 years plus, making sure that you see if there are any billing errors, and you can get certain accounts updated to positive, and then last but certainly not least, disputing items based on code violations. If you need help with taking your credit to the next level, make sure you do what you need to do in order to stay plugged in, and check the links in the description. And if you like content like this and you want to see your credit go up, you know what to do. So do what you know. Salute.